Hey, welcome back to the cottage. It's the second installment in the series of Minecraft Twisted with Whitebeard, and that's me. Done a little bit of work around here. I've got the bridge in, I finished that, and I've lit up a bunch around this immediate area. I've been lighting up caves and doing a lot of caving and mining resources. This place has got huge ravines in it, and that I think is probably the best way to gather your resources rather than just strictly mining. But kind of the idea here is to create an energy hub that can be expanded outward. And I had the machine setting up there in the basement of the cottage. I've gotten those moved down here, but I didn't want to, or over to this area over here. But I didn't want to really do anything until I had power and little underwater tunnel there. And I've got power now, and I'm using water mills, and there's 32 of them in here. Now, it's not a real fast way to generate your energy, but it's reasonable. And with the way I've been using machines right now, I have more than enough power. As I said, I've got 32, and I've got that hooked to a bat box, which holds 40,000, and it's fully charged right now. And then in turn, those are hooked to bat boxes, which again will hold 40,000. This down here is a little electric engine, and you have to have that to power one of these machines. We'll go over the machines real quick. Actually, the water mill, let me explain that it should be surrounded by water. I've seen several tutorials on water towers. It seemed to me that the way they were hooking up their water towers, they were excluding some of the faces of these blocks from touching a water block. According to what they say is that the sides and the top can draw energy, the bottom does not. So these are all source blocks in here, and every surface that can touch water is touching it, and I left spaces in between because water mills can share a water block. It doesn't exclude them from using it. I searched around this area forever trying to find diamonds, and just before I was out searching for some stuff in a few caves and that, and just before I started to record, I actually found 6. And the reason I wanted to find diamond, I wanted to find diamond, but you can make diamonds with the Feed the Beast, but there's a little process to it, 3 or 4 steps, and you needed obsidian, so I had to find some diamonds to make a diamond pick to get some obsidian so that I can make diamonds. So it's kind of a vicious circle. But anyway, I have several machines set up here. I have a macerator, an electric furnace, an extractor, a rolling machine, compressor, and then I made a canning machine. And the canning machine, probably not a necessity, but I did it for one reason. And that reason is this right here. You can can your food, and this is actually zombie meat, which normally has a chance of poisoning you. Well, you can eat this once it's canned and use it as a food source and not be poisoned. So that was kind of convenient. Uh, I don't know all the uses for all of these machines. I started to manufacture a few things and ran into where I needed a process and I needed a machine for that process. So that's really the way these all came about. The compressor basically does what it says, and it's one of the machines you use for compressing coal to make compressed coal chunks, and then you surround that with obsidian and you make a diamond. So that was kind of cool. The rolling machine basically is used for making alloys, at least so far that's what I've used them for. The extractor I would recommend. You have to have rubber to be able to insulate some of these cables. And if you were to just strictly smelt the sticky resin, it gives you a 1-for-1 rubber for the sticky resin. I of course had to gather my resources and smelt the sticky resin up first off, but then once I was able to make circuits and found some rubber trees, then it became pretty easy, and it's a pretty good swap here. So it gives you a 3-for-1. The electric furnace, basically it's a furnace. You smelt things in it, you can cook and such. Pardon me. The next thing is a macerator. And this, again, if you can start to build this early on, is of a huge benefit because it extends your ore resources. For every ore you put in, you will get dust. Okay, so I've got 2 iron dust at this point. Now, if I take that and I put it in the furnace, for that 1 ore, I got 2 dust, and for the 2 dust, I will get 2 ingots. So again, pretty cool if you can get it early on. Part of the process of making diamonds is you use flint in that process, and you can mine your gravel and get flint, or you could put it in a macerator, and you put it in a macerator, and you get flint, which is pretty cool. There you go. So if you're having trouble getting flint, or you just want a process that's going to give you flint all the time, then that's the way to go. But that isn't really... I had a little project. I've got myself a little storage room here. I'll show you here real quick. I chose this because there was a big open area there, and then there are several little, cave areas, caverns, down in a couple different directions here. And I thought that was pretty cool because now I can set up individual rooms to handle certain processes. So, but really the reason that I wanted to get started today on this project is we're going to put up some windmills. And they're another choice that they're not high powered, but they're steady, and it's day or night, doesn't make any difference. The same way with the water, is it's not a high yield power source. It's more of a slow one, although with that many water mills, I haven't really run into any trouble. Of course, you know, I'm not running all the machines at full power. Now, as you can see, I've set up a little scaffolding up here so that we can. It'll help us get our windmill set up. So I will meet you up at the top. Okay, I ran back, had to sleep real quick, and getting ready to put our first generator on, or our first windmill. And we'll place these, and then we'll start placing our cables in. And I'm using tin. Now these have some limitations, just like the water. They're supposed to generate more energy by about 50% during a thunderstorm. Pardon me. And they're supposed to produce about 20% more if it's just raining. So, and these will produce a few Minecraft energy units, Minecraft joules, whatever they are. But we have 5, and okay, I guess I should have put that first. Let's see if we can get it to go down here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. When you right-click them, it opens it up for information, so we'll have to do something about that. But we can get these in, and I'll have to go get some more blocks. I'm using tin. It's relatively cheap to manufacture. I'm low on it because I made all those battery boxes, and you do use tin to make batteries. And so I'm low, and I haven't seemed to find a lot when I was out doing my mining. But back to the limitations here. Not what I wanted to do. They make kind of a wool sound when when you break them, which I think is hysterical. Nope, not gonna do it. Okay, I'm gonna have to go get some more blocks to get this down. I'll be back. Okay, got a couple more blocks. And got that all hooked up. Now we can hook these up. Okay. And then we're just going to hook this down to the ground. And as I said, there's some limitations. If you get them too high, apparently they can break. And when they do, it drops a generator, which is part of the recipe for it. It's a generator surrounded by 4 iron. So even if they break, it's not a big deal. It's pretty easy to get them up and running again. Now this tin wire they say, will it's very, very low voltage wire. You can't use it with high power. And you can go about 40 blocks, they say, before you lose energy. So, okay, now we'll go down into the room here, and where am I at? Brought that down in the wrong spot. That's okay. No big deal. It's fine. And I've got room, I think. Let me see. I think I bought, yes, I did. Brought a bat box here. This is basically a battery box. It's they call it a bat box, but it's a battery box, battery storage, and I just want to make sure that we're not losing any voltage, because we're very close to the maximum, and so yeah. There we go. And so this should be good, steady power. We'll get it hooked up, and we'll figure out how much I'm going to do this down to the bottom, and I'll see you down in the okay, so we're downstairs. This comes down into the same area that I've got everything else set up. This is the electric engine that powers the rolling machine. Took me a while to find out how to make it work, but that's the way it works. It needs a redstone signal. You turn it on, and it makes energy. Alright, so I'm not quite sure where I'm going to hook this windmill up yet. I've left enough room in here for more machines. I've got enough room for more bat boxes. Before I start making a whole bunch of bat boxes, I'm going to have to find some tin, because you use batteries and you use two different types of tin. One type you send through the macerator and then the electric furnace, and then the other type you just smelt as you would regular. Of course, that doesn't give you a 2-for-1 trade, but that's what the recipe requires. So let's see. As I said, this is going to be the only thing that I'm kind of lacking of finding right now. Would be a large lava pool where I could put in some geothermal. I've finished the ceiling all up, and I left some area here for solar panels. So all of this will probably expand. I may do another water mill somewhere, or expand this one, and might even put in a wind farm with pretty much that design, as long as it produces a fair amount. You know, right now trying to combine them, solar the same way, except it's no good at night, but you have these other backup systems. So I'm going to go to bed, and we'll go out and see if we're producing some energy. Okay guys, it started to rain just as night fell, and so I hurried up and got up here. I cleared all that scaffolding away, and we are producing power. And we're producing now 10 to 20 per second, and so we've got a little rainstorm going right now, and that's helping out a bit. Hopefully it won't break, Here's what the output on that bat box is 32, and a lot of the machines, the ones I'm using, will take in maybe 5 at a time. So it drains them a little bit when you start doing stacks of things. But other than that, once we get these machines automated, I'm sure we'll need more power. And the one nice thing about low voltage is it can be transmitted over a long distance. So anyway, by the way, with these windmills, I understand it doesn't make any difference which way they're turned, so that doesn't have any effect on them generating energy. But anyway, that's it for a windmill. I'm going to go back in where it's dry. There were a couple other things that I wanted to share with you before I ended the episode. And there's various types of backpacks in here, and I would also recommend they're pretty cheap to make. I would recommend getting some of these depending on what you wanted to inventory. But this is called a hunter's backpack, and instead of going into your inventory here, it gives you 15 extra slots to store food, and it takes up 1 slot in your inventory. And then the other one that I made was called the miner's backpack, and I found a couple of tin while I was digging down up there. So this will hold all of your ores. It doesn't seem to hold cobblestone, but all of your ores, it'll hold redstone and all of your ores. Gives you 15 slots. Again, it'll stack up to 64, and again, only take 1 slot in your inventory. There are several others. Adventurer's backpack. I'm not sure what that does. There's a backpack for beekeeping. Oh, that was one thing I can show you here. It sounded kind of interesting. You can actually make apiaries, and I've been out collecting some bees, and apparently you can breed these, but you use them to get honey. Now you have to, from what I understand in my research, you use a squeezer or you use a centrifuge to clean these combs of their honey, which is just exactly how they do it in real life. But they have forest and tropical, and I think the name, pretty much tells you where you find these. They seem to be pretty plentiful, at least in this seed. Your wintry, for example, would be out in your ice or snow biomes, which I kind of thought was pretty cool. And one thing that you use honey for is you can put it on bread, and it makes it a pretty powerful food source, apparently. But in store, I think what I'm going to try and do is I want to try and get the bees going, and I believe the next machine that I'm going to try to do is an industrial centrifuge. I need some more things for that, so probably the next episode maybe we'll build one if I've got everything that I need, and I'm going to kind of figure out what to do with this power. These machines can all be moved. They can go to different rooms, and that's kind of my intent. But I need some different materials that are made with different processes so that I can make solar panels. And once we get some of this going, right now for what I've been doing, this has been plenty of power, and so every bat box in here, the one up above and here, and at the end of this water mill are all charged now. So I would have to go through quite a bit of power, but I'm sure that will happen once the automation starts. So anyway, for this episode, I'm going to bid you adieu, and I thank you for watching. And if you want to follow along, please, I'd love to have you. And so that'll about wrap it. And we'll see you later on. Everybody take care.